As you know if you follow the channel, Jeffree Star gets involved in an insane amount of drama, with people throwing receipts around proving one thing or another about him. And because he's involved in so much drama, it's like people can't even remember any specific scandals that he gets in, as they're all kind of melted together into one just pot of controversy. But today on the channel I wanted to point out a few specific instances of times that Jeffree Star was caught lying while involved in a scandal, and what the truth of the matter actually was. Hey, what's up everyone, it's Mackenzie Smith here, and today I'm going to be filling you in on the lies of Jeffree Star, and the 5 times he was blatantly caught lying. But I know for a fact there are way more than 5, so if you want to see a part 2 of this, definitely let me know below. Also make sure to like and subscribe to the channel below too. Alrighty, now let's get into it. So starting off with number 5, made allegations against James Charles. The most viral case of Jeffree Star lying was his accusation that James Charles was a and we've heard this countless times from Jeffree. The most explosive time was after Tati made her Bye Sister video, and Jeffree ended up tweeting out that James was banned from his house, as well as calling him a danger to society, among other things. Then he said it again on the Mom's Basement podcast, when after Keemstar asked him if he would still label James a danger to society, Jeffree didn't say no, even adding that he could play a recording that he has from a James Charles victim, Two-Face Banks, and see if he would have sent out the same tweet. But the confusing thing is that even though Jeffree had been pretty confident in these statements and shown this voice recording to many people, he flip-flopped many times, saying in his first apology video, never doing this again, that he apologizes to James for sending those tweets, even saying that it's one of the biggest regrets of his life, that he jumped the gun on a situation he didn't completely understand, but then going on the Mom's Basement podcast and talking about the voice recording. Then in his latest apology video, apologizing to James once again, saying that he shouldn't have fell for the things that people were saying, also adding that he got caught up in the hype and he apologizes for that. So it leaves viewers really unsure of what to believe and questioning if there really is a victim. But the consensus with other drama channels that I've seen has been that since Jeffree apologized to James for these accusations, that's sort of the proof that the voice notes and these allegations are probably not true. However, we will all listen to any victim that comes forward themselves, not anything based off of hearsay from Jeffree. In at number 4, investor of Morphe.
So what in the mall? Does you open the store?
Yeah, so it's called Morphe Brushes. So it's like a company that I invested in, and I have my own brand in the store. Kind of like a Sephora, but like better.
The makeup community exploded when it was revealed that Jeffree was an investor of Morphe, and you might be wondering why anyone would be thinking that. Well, that's because a video was released of Jeffree speaking to some random man, and when they asked what Jeffree did for a living, Jeffree said that he's an investor in Morphe Brushes, even saying that he has his own brand in the Morphe Brushes store. So after this was revealed and everyone lost their minds, because not only would that make people think twice of buying from Morphe, but that would also be an absolutely massive FTC violation, as Jeffree had done many favorable reviews on Morphe products, but never disclosed that he would benefit financially from the sale of the products. Things got even worse when Tati also said in her video that she thought that Jeffree was a co-owner of Morphe, but said she had no proof other than the things that she had heard behind the scenes. Jeffree then tried to clear this all up in a Snapchat story, where he said that his words were taken out of context, and that he said he was not an investor of Morphe, but instead had invested in Morphe, with the sale of his goods in their store. But that doesn't really make sense to me either. Like, I doubt Rihanna is saying that she invested in Sephora because she decided to put her products in their store, right? This all ended when Morphe put out a statement that said, quote, "We can confirm that Jeffree Star retains no ownership of Morphe." The representative said, "He's not an investor. He's not a co-owner. Our only relationship is through retail distribution of Jeffree Star Cosmetics and our 2019 Morphe X collaboration." And there was some suspicion when Shane's line was dropped and Jeffree's wasn't, leading people to think he was involved in the larger decision. But this all ended with Jeffree Star Cosmetics being removed, and I guess the case being closed on this one. In at number 3, Davi Vanity. As we all know from the James Charles situation, Jeffree loves to call people terrible illegal things with basically no proof. However, with the Davi situation, Davi was actually guilty, but Jeffree once again lied through his teeth, either not knowing the truth or just not wanting to be involved anymore. The issues with Davi arose when fans brought up the fact that Jeffree used to be incredibly close with Davi, with them touring back when Jeffree was in the music business. And then people started to unearth tweets of Jeffree's that made it seem like he knew of Davi's nasty behavior, but never said anything. Back in 2013 was the first time Davi was accused of being inappropriate with girls, and back when these accusations were made, Jeffree tweeted out, quote, "I'm gonna speak the truth till I die." We saw Davi bring underage girls to his hotel rooms and do sexual things, 100% illegal. But that was not the only one. Jeffree made plenty of tweets around that time, all accusing him of the same thing. So this clearly proves that Jeffree saw some illegal stuff happen, right? Well, then it makes no sense that after all this, Jeffree and Davi reunited and went on tour together once again, with him tweeting out later that year that he had so much love for Davi, and Davi replied saying that Jeffree apologized to his face for making these false accusations. So after this strange timeline was revealed, people determined that Jeffree either lied about the accusations or sat back and let things happen. But considering the fact that now over 20 women have come forward against Davi, it seems that Jeffree might not have been lying about the accusation, but he was lying when he tried to clear his name and called him his brother, while going on another tour with him. Once again proving that Jeffree is incredibly shady and his moral compass is questionable at best. In at number 2, bi-sister involvement. One of the most explosive lies that Jeffree has been involved in this year has been the allegations that him and Shane Dawson were incredibly involved in Tati Westbrook's bi-sister video. After many of Jeffree's old friends had come forward with their stories of his involvement, Tati put the final nail in the coffin when she uploaded her own video about the situation, where she point blank says that Jeffree and Shane were responsible for the creation of that video because they were bitterly jealous of James Charles. And this was all started again when Jeffree went on the Mom's Basement podcast, and after he was asked about his involvement ruining James Charles' career, threw the entire blame on Tati, telling the host that he did not ruin James's career, but rather Tati did when she uploaded her 40-minute video. And after she made her video, it was incredibly clear that Jeffree was once again lying. And although there is a possibility that Jeffree didn't orchestrate it, he was definitely way more involved than he originally said, but obviously wasn't ever gonna admit that fact. Jeffree even threw some shade Tati's way in his apology video, where he loosely referenced her, saying that when someone tries to take someone's career down and doesn't work, doesn't mean you can take some other people down with you, then saying he will only hold himself accountable for his own actions, not other people's, again hinting at Tati's video. But after all the dust settled, it's blatantly obvious that Jeffree was heavily involved in the video, however I'm not sure we'll ever get the real truth of how much. And finally at number 1, fake robbery. A new theory that was originally put forward by D'Angelo Wallace has been picking up a lot of steam recently, and that's the accusation that Jeffree Star Cosmetics actually wasn't robbed. Back in 2019, Jeffree uploaded an explosive video when he told fans how $2.5 million worth of makeup was stolen from his warehouse, and the product that was stolen was an entire shade of a new concealer he was going to be launching in the following weeks. In the video, he speaks of how there had been similar robberies around his area, and that security camera footage showed a sophisticated 6-man operation where they cut a hole in the roof of the building. Then Star said he was working with the FBI as well as other law enforcement to bring the thieves to justice. Then speaking of how he found the concealers being sold on Facebook days later, and Star was working with law enforcement to get any info they could from her. And even though this all seemed incredibly convincing to Jeffree's audience, D'Angelo has poked a few holes in that story, bringing to light how the only source we have for this crime is Jeffree himself, and revealing that the LAPD nor the FBI made any sort of statement about the robbery or the fact that they would be looking into it, which is pretty unusual in a case this big, with news outlets reporting that local law enforcement did not respond with a statement on the matter. Then D'Angelo mentioned another really fishy issue with that story, mentioning how the woman that was discovered online to be selling the concealers revealed she never actually was in possession of the concealers. She just saw another post online and decided to resell it on Facebook for a profit, with the woman even telling local news that she was never contacted by the FBI, despite being the only lead in the robbery at the time, and with Jeffree telling his fans that she would be dealing with the full extent of the law. With D'Angelo then questioning how we haven't heard any update on this case since it happened, with it pretty much just going away after it was reported by news outlets because Jeffree had spoke about it. So after this explosive video, many people started to call Jeffree out on Twitter, and Jeffree ended up responding to these allegations in his latest YouTube video, saying that he can't believe the lies that the police report only showed $10,000 in losses from the robbery, not $2.5 million like he claimed. But in that video, he didn't show any evidence of the police report or any more pictures or sort of evidence from the robbery, so a lot of people are still not buying it. Alrighty everyone, that's all from me today. Let me know what you're all thinking about this below. And again, let me know if you want to see a part 2, and if you do, let me know some other times that Jeffree was caught lying. I can already think of like so many honestly. But before I head out, I'm gonna shout out some comments from my Jake Paul fight video. So Fluffy Pink Chaos said they shouldn't let Jake Paul near anyone. With all the parties he's been having, and God knows how many people have gotten COVID from him or one of his parties. He's the Typhoid Mary of 2020. I guess that's a really valid point. Like, they better be testing him before they let him interact with anyone. I'm sure they already have, but yeah, no, he's definitely a spreader of some sort. Then another user said he owes money for tax. His manager is a criminal. He kind of helped the looting, I don't know about that one. He's been a disturbance to the neighborhood. Yeah, he just has so many crimes on his record at this point. He just needs to take a serious break from the internet, from everything. Like, really take a break and come back, and then maybe we can consider listening to him again. But just the fact that he keeps like plowing through all these scandals, it's really not helping him. Then I'm Stumped said, I have to agree, Wendy's has some good burgers. Love their Frosties too. I swear to God, like, I will die on this hill. Wendy's has the best like quality burgers, I think, of any fast food restaurant. So good. I'm obsessed with them. Okay everyone, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way here, I really appreciate it. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram to be kept up to date with all the news and tea you'll ever need to know. And I'll see you all in the next one.